of lockdown. It's Thursday. It's my full day at home and I'd planned a run with Melanie. I'm not having a run, I'm having a walk with Melanie. Why is it in the UK that we are all so excited when we see the snow? Maggie's been barking at it since 7 o'clock this morning when it was more rain than snow. She obviously felt the ice on her nose. But no, I shall take you out. I shall take my phone out and record on my phone. And as I walk down to Melanie's, I'm going to see if I can get snowdrops peeking through the snow. I'm so excited. I'm just like a big kid. Anyhow, when I get back, I've got the quilts out ready to show you the quilts that I've already made, because I think some of you might like to see that. This view here behind me is at the front of my house. This is the hedge between myself and my neighbour, and then in the background, I don't know if you can see, Alex has still got his Christmas lights up. In fact, I'll spin the camera around so that you can see if Alex's. Oh yes, if I zoom in you will be able to. And there, we've decided in the UK to keep our Christmas lights on to bring light to the world in these well seemingly dark times. But it's so beautiful. Our snow in the UK is usually very wet snow. So it's walking boots on and breakfast first, walking boots on, down to Melanie's, and then we will go for, I think, quite a long walk. I wasn't planning on putting the video on, but they don't look very impressed in their jumpers, do they? But believe me, Poppy is such a skinny little dog, and Maggie's got hers on. She really is not happy. I don't think it'll last, but it's going to be so wet and cold out when they walk. I don't want them getting hurt. So here we go, snowdrops. And they're just coming through. Unfortunately, you can probably hear the noise behind. We're quite low in the Vale of York, and it feels as if I'm being rained on at the moment as I go through the woods. I'm not letting Poppy and Maggie off just yet because they will go and get completely soaked. They've got their Equifleece jumpers on, as I showed you in the house, looking totally unimpressed. So we're off now to meet Melanie. We were due to go for a run at lunchtime, but we're not now. We're walking at this time. Oh, that snow sounds quite nice. But here in the trees, woo! Thanks, Poppy. We've got the melt straight down. They can see birds. Right, so I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you shortly with Melanie. Hold on. There we go. So, today's run. Lady Lexi, looking very elegant. Poppy, looking dirty. Maggie, looking absolutely filthy. I don't think Melanie really wants to. Why are you filthy, Maggie? Has she been rolling in it?
No, I think somebody jumped her. Tans, I need to do your boots.
Tansy's got boots on because she gets frostbite, and you have to be very careful with the salt because apparently the salt that they put down can cause problems as well. But they are very happy dogs. Melanie and I are getting very cold fingers, but we will walk them and hopefully have a very quiet afternoon. So this is exactly the spot that Melanie and I vlogged at you from on Saturday on the railway line. And look at it today, absolutely deserted. So we can have all the dogs off the lead. All the farm animals are in barns, which is great. And I have discovered why Maggie is filthy. She has been rolling in whatever. Poppy is in a hedge. There she is. Let's see if I can zoom in. Little Tansy's lost her shoes, so that's not going to go down well with Tansy's mummy. But there you go. She's lost her shoes. And I think that the snow is coming back. So, as promised yesterday, this is my first quilt. And I'm going to struggle to get the whole thing in one camera shot without putting it on the floor. And putting it on the floor, I run the risk of the dogs getting hold of it. Now, this quilt was made back at the end of the 1980s. And I had a book by a lady called Ginny Bayer, and it was Ginny Bayer's Patchwork Blocks. I'll just scan you over to see if anybody can recognise the names of any of these blocks. I like this one. I can't remember all their names. I mean, look at this one here. It's got lots of little blocks in it across the sides there. There was this one here. This one here. That was a favourite of mine at the time. Just going to push it down and then on down you go. There we are. Everybody's nice bit of Dresden plate. There's a few I can remember. That's the Mariner's Compass and that's the Dresden plate. I think that might have been something about geese. Prairie geese, flying geese. And then this one here at the end was me having a go at trying to design my own block. Now, I'll give you a smaller little scheme over them. I did everything by hand. The pieces were traced by hand. The seam allowance was marked on with a quilter's quarter. The fabric came from a place called Quilter's Patch that used to be in York. She used to run some quilting workshops local to me. I think she's moved on since I know Quilter's Patch isn't around because it was in the next village. But I met somebody shortly after I got married and this lady was doing quilting and David said, oh, if you want to go and do that with these people on such and such a night, so just go and do it. So I did. And the binding was just literally a standard binding now. You can see every block in reverse on the back. Because I quilted in the ditch completely. This is the one where I had lots of little squares that I pointed out. And I hand quilted it. Everything is done by hand. Absolutely everything was done by hand. Now, then went on a course with a lady called Dorothy Osler, who was the Heritage Secretary of the Quilters Guild, which is now the Quilters Guild of Great Britain. And she did a course on North Country whole cloth quilting. So of course I had to have a go, didn't I? And here you are, you've got traditional designs. It has faded here and I don't know why. Now I did do it as a present for my father and my father had it and then I gave it to him. It was for him and my mother when they moved into their house, the last house they had together. And then his new wife took over. And I don't think she appreciated it and I think it got shoved in a cupboard. I did get it back, obviously. At one point I asked for it back and I couldn't find it after I'd moved here. And then realised it had been popped somewhere else and she didn't have it, so it was safe. So it goes, everything is the same all the way around. So whatever you start at here, on the bottom is exactly the same on the top. So you've got four sides of it and then it moves in. So we've got these like tulips to wine glasses to the cable, crescent moons with traditional sort of cube quilting. You've got some infill swirls which were quite common and then I've got my heart design in the middle. It was drawn on by hand using a Caran d'Ache water-based pencil crayon because that will rub off as you work. You know, we're talking about 1990 to 1992 when I did this, and we didn't have all the chalk markers we had now. There were some chalk markers, but chalk markers came off straight away. Pencil crayon's better because it wears off as you're doing it. But again, it's all hand quilted. And I wonder why I've got eye issues now. I mean, look at that. I mean, seriously, how did I manage to do that? There's a technique where you bounce the needle off the top of a thimble, and that gives you the small stitches. Look at these here. Goodness me. I'm like a little machine. Look at that. Is that going into focus? Look at that. Unbelievable. A little bit there that's really, really fine. So that is my 1 metre square sample of a Durham whole cloth quilt. I chose to do pink and pink. Normally they were white whole cloth quilts, and obviously if you turn it over on the back, I can't go any further up because it has my old address on it, and I don't really want to show you that. But there you go, that's the back, and you can see exactly the same design on the back as you can see on the front. So if I hold my hands up and say I am a hand quilter, you can understand why. And again, it's all done in pink. So obviously the running stitch was done in pink. I hope I'm showing you enough of this. I mean, I'd love to do something more like this again, but I think my eyes are probably done at this point. And I went from quilting to doing the City and Guilds fashion course in Hull, which I absolutely loved, and I did that for 3 years till shortly after my mum died. I loved all the pattern cutting and the working of how garments came together. I think we're all, you know, sewist is a term that's used now, and I don't know if it's a term I identify with as such. I've always thought of myself as a needlewoman. I create things with fabric. I love making my own clothes, but sometimes I think, do I need any more clothes? Do I need any more clothes at the moment? It's at that point I think, what else shall I make? And it's really good that you've got another string to your bow. You pick up some hand embroidery, some cross stitch, some knitting. It's all working with thread, isn't it? I've got an idea of what to do when this quilt is finished, but the next thing is, let's get that quilt going, let's get those let's get those bars and squares up. I am sewing with a very, very slow speed, which obviously helps. This one here, I am in the ditch, and you need to go so slowly because you just don't want to go, you don't want to put the needle in the wrong place. I've done the rest of the horizontals today, and I am going to stop in a minute because, gosh, it's getting my eyes. I've been really tired today. I did realise earlier that I'd not had any coffee. I'm not going to start now because I don't want to wake myself up. But when I came back from my walk with Melanie, I went for a cup of tea rather than a cup of coffee. Usually I go for a cup of coffee after a run. And then I made myself some soup, nipped off up to the local shop just to get a couple of essentials, and came home, sat down and started to do the front cover for the vlog, and fell asleep. And I woke up when my daughter rang me, and it's taken me quite a while to sort of wake myself up. I'm just absolutely shocked. There again, I was out walking for the best part of 3 hours this morning, so that's a lot of exercise. And I can't say I've not done anything since I got home because, of course, I am doing jobs around the house all the time. Anyhow, here go. We're nearly at the end. And then just before I say goodbye tonight, I just want to throw something out into the mix for you all to, again, give me your opinions on. And patterns. I'm going to ask for patterns, books, websites, anything I can look at. Because as I said earlier in this vlog, I do want to make myself some clothes, but there's nowhere I can wear nice clothes to at the moment. Work is very much sportswear. So apart from running myself up a couple of extra t-shirts, well, that which would be lovely, well, there's not much more I can wear. And I don't want to really use or make up anything in some nice fabric that I've got, because I am trying to get my weight back under control. I've not got much to lose, just a little bit. And if I lose this little bit, I'll have a whole wardrobe of clothes I can wear. And I just like sewing, which is why when I've got lots of clothes and I don't feel I can justify making any clothes, I turn to quilting. And sometimes I turn to knitting. Knitting I turn to usually in a winter evening. And I like knitting on the go when I can knit maybe 2 or 3 rows or 2 or 3 rounds in a night. And at the moment, because there's nothing to do at school, usually at lunchtime I work through my lunch hour. There's nothing to do at the moment at lunchtime. So I've taken my knitting, and the class teacher thought it was hilarious. Right, super. Now I've got you back on the sewing table, and underneath here is the quilt. I don't think we need to see any more of the quilt at the moment, but I have got some other sewing that I would really like to do. I bought this, as you know, in socialising, and I need to get that made up in, ooh, it looks upside down, cowl neck, simple t-shirt. And I thought it's got quite a close fitting fabric with the correct amount of stretch in it. And I've got my lovely stretch ruler here that I've shown you before. Have you seen this? So you put the ruler on the fabric, and you take 10 centimeters of the fabric, and then you pull it to see how much stretch it's got. This has got 60 horizontal, and vertical is going to be a bit trickier to do. Trust me, I'm doing it over here. Vertical stretch. It's got a good 40% of that as well. Beautiful ruler, this. And if you think you might like one of these rulers, keep watching, and if you've not subscribed, I'd subscribe. Enough said. So I've got this beautiful t-shirt to make. The other thing is this lovely new Atelier Brunette viscose that is cut out, ready to make the Amarette dress by Singular Patterns. There you go. I'm not basic wrap dress. I'm not putting the pockets on. It's got very nice drop sleeves, simple set-in sleeves, and it is very, very roomy when I've looked at the pictures online, and it's got a gathered skirt there, so it will be very, very simple and very, very relaxing to wear, but quite nice to get it made, and I think it's a dress that will move sizes with you. So those are the first 2 things that I want to make. All of these fabrics are all 100% quilting cottons. A lot of them were from my stash. I mean, that's one I got from Sew Hayley Jane in one of her boxes. I think that's a Sew Hayley Jane as well. This is a Dashwood. Oh, do you know, I could have told you what the name was in it and I can't remember. That's a Tilda fabric. Tilda quilting cotton. That came from So Cute. Tilda quilting cottons are absolutely beautiful. They're really soft. That's a Sew Hayley Jane. But I've got all of these, plus many, many more in here. This was my cousin's scrubs. Cats that I bought to make Alex masks. More quilting fabric. So much quilting fabric here. And I thought I'd like to make a charm quilt. And I have now to decide whether I want my charm quilts to be hexagons, diamonds, or squares. And I've got these clover templates that I bought from the Eclectic Maker. I'll put a link to the Eclectic Maker below. I think I've put one in there before. but that's where that's where a lot of these fabrics have come from, because they've been quite quick at sending the fabrics out to me when I've wanted them. They're all pre-washed, and I thought it'd be really nice to make one of these colourway charm quilts. And I don't know whether to have it in colour blocks or colourways, or to fade it in. If you've got any ideas of how to do a charm quilt, or how I could successfully, let me just tip you down a little bit more, successfully do and achieve a lovely charm quilt, please, please, would you pop a message in the box below and let me know what your thoughts were, because everybody said that they would love to see me doing something else. So there you go, you've asked me what's going to happen afterwards. How about a charm quilt? I have got some bunting to make for the kitchen, but I think this weekend I should try and make those 2 garments. I need to make more jersey tops, and I think if I get into the little swing of jersey, we might have a jersey top making week next week. But as I've said before, I don't want to plan what I'm going to do. I want to go with the flow, because there are days when I feel absolutely shattered. Now I'm going to sign off for today and say I hope you enjoyed seeing the quilts I made earlier and the little bit of sewing I've done tonight. I really, really want your help on how to do the charm quilt. If you know of any websites, any books, any tips you want to write. If you write me an essay, I promise I will read it. I need your guidance. I can quilt, you can see that I can quilt. I can do patchwork, you can see that I can do it. But I was the secretary to the Quilters Guild in Great Britain for 3 years, 1988 to 1991. And I stopped when I became pregnant with my daughter, because I struggled to get to the meetings and keep up with the work because I already had a toddler. So that's when I stepped down from that role. And I did a lot of quilting in that time. But Hannah is 29 this summer, and things move on. So all your help would be so much appreciated. I hope to vlog tomorrow. I might cut some shapes out. I don't know. If you don't see me pop up for day 11, do not panic. It's only because I've been for my run with Rachel and I'm tired. She makes me run further. It's good that she makes me run further. And she makes me keep going, and I need that. Because I have asthma, which makes me cough, and also because of my leg. I'm off to see the physiotherapist next week. Tom is fully aware that there's issues with my legs. I might even take you along to see Tom with me. So I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to say thank you for staying with me. Thank you for all your lovely comments. If you've not subscribed, just click the subscribe button and give me a like. Thumbs up. See you later. Bye.